Good afternoon, students. Today's session is for GNM first year students. The topic is adrenal glands. In this session, we will study about anatomy and physiology of the adrenal glands. So this image is showing the adrenal glands. As you can see, adrenal glands are located above the kidney. Because they are present superior to the kidney, that's why they are also called suprarenal glands. So these are paired suprarenal glands. They have a shape which is pyramidal, and in an adult, means who are having 18 years of age or above that, each adrenal gland is 3 to 5 centimeter in height. The width is 2 to 3 centimeter and the thickness is less than 1 centimeter. The mass is of 3.5 to 5 gram and it is only half its size at the birth. Now the adrenal glands are differentiated into two distinct regions, structurally and the functionally. There are two distinct regions. First is adrenal cortex and second is adrenal medulla. The large part is the adrenal cortex. 80 to 90% of the gland comprised of this cortex, and the small part is the adrenal medulla. The outer part or the which is peripherally located, that is the adrenal cortex, and which is centrally located, that is the inner part, is the adrenal medulla. In this diagram you can see a layer of connective tissue is known as capsule, then the adrenal cortex, the outer part peripherally located, and the adrenal medulla which is centrally located or the inner part. Now adrenal cortex is divided into three zones, and this is because these three zones are secreting different hormones, three different hormones. So first is zona glomerulosa, second is zona fasciculata, and third is zona reticularis. This image shows the adrenal cortex and the adrenal medulla. There is the layer of connective tissue which is capsule. Then zona glomerulosa, the cells are spherical. Then zona fasciculata, which covers most of the part. Then zona reticularis, and then adrenal medulla. Now what is zona glomerulosa? As you see, the cells are closely packed and these are arranged in the spherical clusters, and they secrete the hormones called mineralocorticoids. Now what is zona fasciculata? Zona fasciculata is the widest of the three zones, and the cells are arranged in long and straight columns, and these secrete the hormones which are named as glucocorticoids. So zona glomerulosa, the cells were spherical in nature. Zona fasciculata, the cells are arranged in long and straight columns. Then zona reticularis, this is the inner zone, and the cells are arranged in branching cords, and they synthesize very small amount of weak androgens. Now we will discuss about these hormones one by one. First one is mineralocorticoids. In the mineralocorticoids, aldosterone is the major one, and it regulates the homeostasis of two minerals which are sodium and the potassium. And because of the maintenance of these minerals, the blood pressure and the blood volume is maintained. Now let's see how this blood pressure is maintained by the aldosterone. The aldosterone is controlled by the system. The name is renin angiotensin aldosterone system, RAS system. So in this image, RAS system is shown. If the person is having dehydration or there is a sodium deficiency or the person has hemorrhage, so there will be automatically decrease in the blood volume. Because of that, the blood pressure will be decreased. Because of decreased blood pressure, the kidney's juxtaglomerular cells will secrete a hormone. The name of the hormone is renin. This renin hormone will convert the angiotensinogen into the angiotensin 1, and this angiotensinogen was produced in the liver. Now the angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1 because of the help of the ACE enzyme which is produced in the lungs. This enzyme, angiotensin converting enzyme, This will convert the angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2. And the effect of angiotensin 2 are on the adrenal cortex. Because of angiotensin 2, there will be vasoconstriction of the arterioles first, and second is the adrenal cortex, there will be secretion of aldosterone. Now, if there is vasoconstriction of arterioles, the blood pressure will be increased. And if the aldosterone is secreted, this will lead to increased sodium and water reabsorption in the kidneys and the secretion of potassium and the H plus into the urine. So this is the RAS system, which shows because of sodium deficiency, dehydration or hemorrhage, it is activated. From the adrenal cortex, the aldosterone is secreted, which will ultimately increase the sodium and the water reabsorption, and that's why the blood pressure will be increased. Now, glucocorticoids. These include three hormones: cortisol, corticosterone, and the cortisone. Of all of these three hormones, cortisol is the most abundant, and it accounts for 95% of all the glucocorticoid activity. Now, what are the effects of these glucocorticoids? First is protein breakdown, especially of the muscle fibers. So protein will be breakdown into amino acids, which can be further used for making of another proteins and for the ATP production also. Second is gluconeogenesis. So liver cells will convert amino acids or the lactic acid to the glucose, which neurons and the other cells can use for the ATP production. So there will be production of glucose from amino acid and lactic acid. This is known as gluconeogenesis. Then there will be lipolysis. This will stimulate the breakdown of triglycerides and the release of fatty acids from the adipose tissue. Then the person will be resistant to the stress. So the additional glucose that was supplied by the liver cells because of these glucocorticoids, it will provide tissues with a ready source of ATP, so that our body can combat this stress. And this stress include any exercise, fasting, fright, temperature extreme, either high, low, high altitude, bleeding, infection, surgery, trauma, and the disease condition. Glucocorticoids also have anti-inflammatory effects because they inhibit the white blood cells count. They also retard tissue repair, and therefore tissue healing slows down. Also, they depress the immune system. That's why they are also given to the patients who have undergone the organ transplantation in order to reduce the rejection of the tissue. Now, if there are decreased glucocorticoid level in our blood, so from the hypothalamus, there is the release of corticotrophin releasing hormone. This will stimulate the corticotrophs in the anterior pituitary to release the ACTH, that is adrenocorticotrophin hormone, due to which there will be secretion of glucocorticoids from the adrenal cortex, and in this way the glucocorticoids will be increased in the blood. So hypothalamus will be stimulated, it will release CRH, then it will stimulate anterior pituitary to release the ACTH, and this will further stimulate the adrenal cortex to release the glucocorticoids. Now, androgen, what is the function? They stimulate the growth of axillary and the pubic hair in the boys and the girls, and also contribute to the prepubertal growth spurt. Before the puberty, if the boy and girl is growing very quickly and suddenly in a short period of time, then it is caused by the hormone which is known as androgen. In females, these also promote the libido, and also these are converted into estrogens by other tissues. Now, adrenal medulla. What is adrenal medulla? As we all know, as we discussed, it is centrally located part of the adrenal gland. So the adrenal medulla has the chromaffin cells and they secrete hormones, 80% epinephrine and 20% norepinephrine and a small amount of dopamine also. Now what is the function of these epinephrine and the norepinephrine? These are responsible for fight or the flight response in our body. For example, if your body is in stress or you are angry, so there will be the stimulation of this fight or the flight response. Or you are running from any harmful thing. For example, dog is running after you, so there will be the stimulation of fight or the flight response. So in this, what happens? The salivary flow will be decreased, the pupils will be dilate, the blood vessels will be constricted, the person will feel chills and sweating will be there, the heartbeat will be faster, the digestion will be stopped or slow down, the muscles will become tense and trembling can occur, the person will breathe faster, the digestion will be slowed down, the blood pressure will be increased. So in the conditions where fight or flight response is stimulated, it will be caused by the epinephrine and the norepinephrine, which are secreted from the adrenal medulla. So if you are in a stressful situation, there will be the release of epinephrine and the norepinephrine. Now vasculature. So the arterial supply to the adrenal gland is provided by three main arteries. These are superior adrenal artery, middle adrenal artery and the inferior adrenal artery. So superior adrenal artery arises from inferior phrenic artery, middle arises from abdominal aorta and inferior arises from renal artery. Then the venous flow. There are two adrenal veins, right and the left adrenal veins. The right one will drain into the inferior vena cava, while the left adrenal vein will drain into the left renal vein. So in this diagram you can see in the right side there is right superior suprarenal arteries, then right middle suprarenal artery, then right inferior suprarenal artery. You can see the right superior suprarenal arteries, they arise from the inferior phrenic artery. The right middle suprarenal artery, they arise from the abdominal aorta, and right inferior suprarenal artery, it arises from renal artery. Similarly, the vein, there is left and the right adrenal vein. So there is the vein named as left suprarenal vein and the right suprarenal vein. The right one will be drained into the inferior vena cava, while the left one will be drained into the renal vein, which will supplying to the kidney. Now the nerve supply. These glands are innervated by the celiac plexus. As you all know, celiac plexus, it is a complex network of nerves which are located in the abdomen, and it includes various plexus also, like hepatic, splenic, gastric, pancreatic and the suprarenal, and also by the greater sphincteric nerves. Then sympathetic innervation to the medulla only is mainly from T10 to L1 spinal cord segments. In this diagram you can see there is a celiac plexus and it is supplying to the adrenal gland, and also greater sphincteric nerves are also involved. Now the lymph drainage. Lymph drainage of the suprarenal gland is by the lumbar lymph nodes. These greenish in color, these are the lumbar lymph nodes, and all the lymphatic drainage will be in these lumbar lymph nodes. So we discussed about the anatomy and the physiology of adrenal glands, in which we discuss the anatomy, adrenal cortex and the adrenal medulla, the three zones of the adrenal cortex, what are the hormones which are secreted by the adrenal cortex. Then we discussed about the adrenal medulla, the chromaffin cells secrete the two hormones and what is their function. Then we discussed what is the arterial supply of the adrenal gland and the venous supply, what is the nerve supply to the adrenal gland, and how the lymphatic drainage occurs in the adrenal gland. Thank you.